Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Man, we've got a lot of storytelling today. So our first one actually comes to us from Japan, and it's kind of a sticky situation, to say the least. Okay, so I've been on the hunt for a Telecaster. It was like a limited edition of 100. They also had a because I just think that would be a fun model to review and demo. But in my searches, I actually ran across this guitar from Fender that I just fell in love with, despite not normally being into what this design is about. But it kind of falls under the same category as a character. But I found this on Yahoo Auctions, which is like the Japanese equivalent of eBay in a roundabout way. And unfortunately, in order to bid on those, you need like an actual Japanese phone number to sign up for an account. But I didn't have that. Now, I'm sure there's a workaround if I really wanted to, but luckily, I had recently sold a guitar to somebody that lived in Japan. And due to me buying all those Japanese guitars and stuff, he said if I ever needed assistance getting one, just to let him know. And yeah, that kind of sounds like the basis for getting scammed. But the dude bought a $4,000 gold top, so I thought my risk was very limited. So I enlisted in his help to go ahead and purchase this from that auction. Luckily, nobody else bid, and now I get to document this fantastic piece of Fender history. What is in here? A creepy spider. So it looks like we get a Fender strap. I think that came with a bunch of these, like 90s, early 2000s Fenders. I really don't remember what era this one came from. All I know is it's a Spider-Man guitar. And that's the cool thing about Fender. They like to do limited editions for, you know, things that Gibson wouldn't normally do. We're talking like anime guitars. Like, remember when I talked about that Beck show? You know, Fender's actually done signature guitars of the other ones from the Mongolian Chop Squad. So without any further ado, let's take a look at this baby. It took so much to get this thing to the United States. Oh man, how cool is this? It's a Spider-Man Mustang. I've never had a Mustang before, and I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan. I didn't really do the comic book characters growing up, but look at this thing. Even despite all that, I fell in love with it. What actually first caught my eye is I thought this was a kill switch. It was like, oh, no, it's just a little Spidey on there. But take a look at this beautiful design. You've got the spider web going on, right? But look at this. This is the competition stripe, but as like the whoosh, whoosh, stuff. So I just thought the finish, the competition stripe as a web, the pick guard being unique, you get the white colors, and this really cool matching headstock with all the spider webs and stuff too. This is such a fantastic find. Definitely can't wait to do the review and demo on this one because I think it'll get some good views. It's a lot of fun. The sponsor of today's episode is Aeros Loop Studio, and today they wanted me to go ahead and demo this product because if you remember, we talked about it in the last unboxing episode.
And the lucky winner of one of these is Lucas Teitla. Congratulations, man. I hope you make some great music with this.
So I've got both their Beat Buddy and their Aeros Loop Studio hooked up, and I'm just going to create a simple little loop here and kind of walk you through this real quick. So let's pretend that you're just plugging it in for the first time. Essentially what this is, it's like having a DAW on your computer, but within your pedal board. So it's like having Logic Pro 10 on you at all times. So you can update it here, you can connect it to Wi-Fi to do the updates, you've got your settings, quick start guide, but what you're going to be most interested in is your song. So we'll go ahead and just select new song. Then you can set all this stuff up. I actually have this synced with this MIDI cable over here, so I can actually use this to do the count in, so all that is just automatically done. And then from here we have 6 tracks that we can record. There's also a 2-track mode. You can overdub over top of those and have like multiple things in one thing. And then you can actually have, I think it's 6 parts within that song as well by selecting next part. And then you can also change up your drum beats. I mean, this can get really complicated. I'm not quite as skilled enough of a musician to fully demo this, but I'm going to do my best for you here right now.
With it being synced up to the Beat Buddy, you can just press that, and then on the first beat, this will actually just automatically start recording. That was really helpful figuring that out because then you don't have to hit the button at the right time. And even if you don't have that, you can set yourself in either 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bars before it starts recording. Another thing that I find really fascinating about this is you don't have to hit record right at the time that you want to record. It won't start until after you hit it at the start of the next bar. So when you start playing that last thing that you want to play, you can just hit that and then it'll automatically cut off and instantly loop that. I took a little bit of figuring out to understand how this thing was working. At first I was getting frustrated there were so many bare spots. And then when you want that next track, you just hit that middle button and then it'll start recording once again at the start of that next bar. And you can visually see all this. Now if you mess up like a goofball like I am doing here, you can just hit that stop button and then hold it down and it'll automatically go into the overdub mode and you can try again. So here you can see, I'm going to hit it right now and then it instantly starts recording that next bar. Now remember, you can have multiple parts to your song, so like right here, I'm moving on to the second part of it. And if you record something too loud, you can go back through and adjust the volumes of each individual track. And then here, I'm moving on to the third. And you can switch in between those parts by hitting select part and then next track, and it'll automatically move into there the next time it's supposed to be. Now I bet you can also sync that up to the Beat Buddy so you can do like a little drum fill or go into the next part to make that sound even more professional. But I hope this guys gives you a slight idea of how to use the Aeros Loop Studio. I'm still learning it myself, but I can definitely see how this would be handy if you don't have a computer around at all times. Especially if you're like a one-man band type situation out live, this would be great. So you can check out that link down in the description, and I also have a discount code that you can use if you're interested in purchasing this. Now let's get back to some unboxing.
Now we have a couple of new Guitar Day purchases. This one was easy, just came from Sweetwater, and this one a little bit more difficult, so a little bit more on that story in a minute. Now this one, I've actually already unboxed this model, but it kind of fell to the wayside because there's a bunch of other stuff I need to review. So this is just going to be featured as kind of like a counterpart to that review and demo of that other one I got. Oh yeah, and I finally bought one of those cloud lifter things. So hopefully this will start making my audio quality a little bit better on my voiceover work. I don't have to be all up on top of the mic anymore because I got that new one. But let's go ahead and get this guitar out. It's actually pretty exciting to have two of these because the one I had previously purchased, it had so much neck binding bleed to it. And the other thing about these guys is there's so many different iterations because of the different neck profiles. So this new Guitar Day purchase will help us illustrate the differences between the most extremes. I now have a version 1 and a version 3. So that should be enough hints to help you guys guess what's inside this beautiful lift-in case. Interesting. I honestly don't remember what this finish is called. But this is another one of those 60th anniversary 1960 reissue guitars. Now I can definitely tell just by feeling this thing out, that is a super slim neck in comparison to the version 1. I don't think I'll go all out crazy unless somebody wants to order a version 2 before I do the review and demo on this one. But I guess the back on this one does look very similar to that first one. They use that really, really dark pore filler. It kind of gives them an exotic look to it. I'm not sure if I love it or not. This one's got a little bit of binding bleed, but it's nowhere near as extreme as the other one I have. I know he's waiting on getting this 1960 reissue, so we're gonna have to go ahead and get this review done sooner than later because it'll be nice to get that other one out of the way as well. It's just kind of been sitting, but this one's got a pretty nice top to it. It's not like heavily pinstriped, it's not quite quilty, but it moves a lot. And you've got something else that I really like that I couldn't see in the Sweetwater photos, the vertical wood grain. That's kind of like an 80s characteristic in my mind. They always have that kind of cross-hatch pattern going on, so this is actually a pretty nice top. Whoa! Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? That case is vibrantly pink, like it's more so like the original lift-ins. I wonder if that's something that they just recently changed or if that comes with the version 3 neck. That's pretty cool. I'll have to compare those during that video as well. And now we have one last fun guitar. So this actually got purchased, I think, very early this year, like maybe January or February. But that was right around the time when the whole Corona and stuff happened and shipping got shut down for a lot of places. I mean, I still can't get stuff from Japan through the cheapest service, EMS anyway, so that's how that guy was also able to help me. But this one came from Belgium, I think, if I remember correctly. And I had some people confused yesterday of how I sold a toy guitar for $100. That was actually a fan donation. I mean, had he had not done that donation, Trade Tuesday Season 3 wasn't actually a thing. That was just an April Fool's joke. But this guitar was actually ordered through my new Guitar Day program by that same guy. So that's how he knew of me. Like I said, you guys like the Trade Tuesday series, so it was definitely worth it. Season 3's kind of been very light on the trade, so we'll probably finish out the whole season without ever even making an official trade. But this purchase kind of falls within my forwarding service, I guess you could say. Similar to how my friend in Japan helped me out. But this one was just somebody within the United States that was uncomfortable with the idea of purchasing something overseas. They don't understand how customs work. Cost might ensue with that. So he's like, okay, here's this money. You do all that part. Check the guitar over. Make sure it's what it says it is. And that's basically the terms for this one. Now this thing was advertised as absolute mint condition, and he paid a premium for that, so this better be absolute mint condition. Otherwise I'll have to take that up with the seller. But this thing took like 4 months to ship. But what is in here? Apparently it is a very rare finish of a Schecter Hellraiser Diamond series. So let's go ahead and take a look at this thing. So apparently there was like only 100 in this finish or something super limited like that. It's been a while since I've read the messages on these guys, and again, I don't really pay attention to Schecter guitars. Now, being described as mint condition, I'm sure with like a fantastic polish job it could be described as that. But it looks like we've got some like playing residue on the top and needs to be cleaned a bit. But you still even have these push coil things, so that's nice. Kind of PRS in style, the way that they indent them into the finish there. Nice string through design, EMG active pickups. Doesn't look like we have any break, cracks, or repairs, so I think he'll be happy with this one. Yeah, we actually have a kind of a small ding right there. That price should have been disclosed. It's kind of like a Schecter version of a Les Paul that's slightly offset. I mean, it's got a lot of comfort features. I mean, as far as getting all the way up here, it's comfortable. What I'm noticing though is it's really chunky. This is a heavy guitar. You can definitely feel that all within the body. But hey, that's enough fun unboxing guitars for now. Let's go ahead and box a couple up now. Starting things off here, I think I finally did justice for this model. It's been a long time since I've did like a in-depth history video about an instrument, and what better one to do it on than the SG exclusive. I could definitely say that I helped some awareness on this one, because there was one on eBay that kept getting relisted multiple times at like a really good price. Not quite good enough for resale territory, but like good enough for somebody that just wanted to play one. It had some wear on the back, but I posted this video within 1 hour of that thing ending, and oh, lo and behold, it sold this time. And then this thing only took, I think, what, 2 hours to sell after I had listed it. So despite owning it for 9 months, you know, it didn't take long to sell once I eventually got around to making that video. The next guitar to pack up here has to go all the way to California. I actually found the body shape to be quite comfortable on this. The pickups, they weren't my favorite, but I love that we found that you have so many different modification opportunities under this, because it's routed out for a humbucker and a single coil in the middle. So that definitely makes this guitar just a modder's dream. You can do so much with this. Not a huge fan of the neck profile, but you can definitely live with it. Now we've got an easy one to pack up. The Billy Joe Armstrong gig bag for the double cutaway guitar. Very rare thing, kind of a cool story. So it's a big Green Day fan, and he decided to purchase this for his Les Paul Junior tribute guitar, you know, the one that we've done a review on. I never really thought about doing that. He could take his and like paint it the TV yellow finish, and then you would have something kind of similar to this rare signature guitar. One of these days I need to find one of these. I think that one and the J180, I think, is the other one that's pretty rare for his signatures. And now we get to say goodbye to a big one. The Crew Nation Telecaster. So a slight turn of events here. This actually ended up selling to somebody who's not within the United States, so they asked if the donation could then go to something that supported their own country. And, you know, I weighed the options. It's like, that sounds like it's fair. We're still helping people out that are out of jobs. And we raised a lot of awareness for Crew Nation. And as a community, we donated over $1,000. And we got $2,500 worth of support to his country's program. So this was definitely a worthwhile venture. And it was great to actually experience a master-built Telecaster. This neck is just beautiful on this guitar. A fun fact, this is actually joining my old Super Standard as well as the Steve Howe, the Les Paul. That guy is building a massive collection of really nice guitars. And to wrap things up for this episode, a forgotten Epiphone. I might have to buy one of these in the future when I'm a little bit more caught up, but the Epiphone SG Modern. I really love the Les Paul Modern, and this one kind of gives me very similar vibes. I mean, it's one of the highest end new Epiphones, and it just feels pretty good in your hands. The only thing that I would really say bad about this is it has that Epiphone D-shaped neck profile. But it's got a little bit more of a rounded shoulder to it, so I think most people would be okay with it. But it just looks great for the price point. I mean, that's a really nice, likely a flame maple veneer. Yep, that confirms it right there. You can actually see it. So they've done exactly what they did for the SG with the Maestros on it. So you can actually tell that ends right there, but they do still have a maple cap, very similar to the Gibson version of this. And you can tell that because the edges, they have the maple wood grain, but they don't have this flame. So it's definitely a viable option if you're into this type of guitar. And the Lock and Grover tuners, I mean, the modern series from the Epiphone collection, like the high-end ones actually called the modern, they're generally really good guitars. So, who knows, maybe one day I'll be so caught up that I'll be looking for guitars to review. I can only dream of that day.
Thank you, Troglodytes, for tuning into this boxing and unboxing episode. Don't forget to visit our sponsor, Aeros Loop Studio with Singular Sound. You can check their link in the description, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.